Hello, and welcome to part 2 of a 3-part video series, Learning to Paint for the Faint of Heart. I'm Mary Helm, artist and creativity coach, and I am so glad to have you along on this journey as we discover and explore our creative side. In this section, we'll be returning to our canvas and creating form. Basically, we'll just outline something and fill it with paint, and we'll have some fun. Now, I wanted to make sure that whatever it was that we outlined on our canvas and created on the layers that we already have there was something meaningful, symbolic, easy to draw, and beautiful. So, of course, I selected a beetle. Now, you're probably wondering, why in the world would I select a beetle? I'm not really a bug person, although I love all of nature. But I just felt very strongly compelled to paint a beetle. And so I decided to do a little research. I really believe that everything in nature has a story to tell and a message to send us if we just take the time to listen and observe. And what, pray tell, could a beetle tell us? Well, I jotted a few of the highlights down for you. So I'm going to read from a page now, just to make sure I get it right. Beetles apparently represent the concept of non-existence into existence. What better way to describe creativity itself? After all we're doing is taking a concept, an idea, or a feeling that is within us, and we're creating it into reality. We've taken something that didn't exist, and we're making it exist. That's creativity in itself. So it made perfect sense to me that I would have selected a beetle, and I'm grateful for whatever it was that compelled me to select it. A little bit more on the beetle. A jewel beetle actually has its very own message to send to us. And its message is to shine on and to let all of your true colors show through. For when the world sees them, the world will love you for them. Isn't that beautiful? Now, aren't you excited to get started on this painting of a bug? I know I am. But first, let's take a few minutes to connect, and then we'll create. So make yourselves comfortable. Relax. Maybe loosen your neck, your shoulders. Take some cleansing breaths. Close your eyes. Take another breath and just connect to each breath. Listen to it as it fills our lungs with cleansing air. Exhale. Releasing. Making room for fresh air to enter our bodies. And envision your favorite place to be. And just know that you're safe there. Look down at your feet and you'll see a path that leads you to the right. And a few steps along this path, you'll notice a garden wall. And this garden wall is made of anything that you wish it to be made of. And a little farther down this wall, you'll notice a gate. And the gate silently swings open and welcomes you to enter the garden. As you step through the gate, you're greeted with the most beautiful garden you've ever seen. It's full of green, lush grass, magnificent trees, delicate shrubberies, colorful flowers, the sound of birds singing, the sound of water and a nearby creek gently making its way over the stones. And you look around and you see the creek winding off into the distance, and you notice a bridge. It's the same bridge you saw the last time you were here. Let's walk towards that bridge, and along the way, take in all the beauty, the colors, the sounds. Feel the sun caressing your face, warming your body. And you relax again. You realize you haven't been this relaxed since the last time you visited. We're getting closer to the bridge now. Let's walk onto the bridge, over the water. We stop. We stop to look down, and we notice that the light is dancing off the water. There are reflections and ripples, and another world is swimming past you. You can feel the energy that surrounds you in this world, the energy that we are all a part of. And you feel gratitude for feeling so at peace in a part of the universe. So just relax, take in the view from this bridge. Don't worry about the time. I'll let you know when it's time to wake up. You realize that there's a beautiful, beautiful insect on the rail of the bridge. The sunlight bounces off its shell and so many colors come out to greet you. There are blues and purples and light greens that you've never seen before, emerald colored greens. And then the insect takes wing and it flies off into the sun, and you feel like you want to follow it. Take another breath. It's time to step away from the bridge. We'll walk back to the lawn, through the lush gardens, and we see a path, a garden stone, marking the entrance. So we take this path and it leads us back to the garden wall. And we see another gate. We open the gate and we step through. And as we do, we turn around and we give thanks and honor the garden, the life, the energy, the warmth of the sun, the beauty of the beetle, and the smell of the flowers. The garden gate closes, and we're ready to join the canvas. So when you're ready, open your eyes. Well, now that we've connected, what do you say I meet you over at the canvas and we'll create? Welcome back to the canvas. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to my palette. I'll be using Phthalo Blue, Phthalo Green, Deep Violet, White, and black. Of course, you may choose whatever colors you like. Moving forward, we'll be drawing the beetle as though looking down at it from above. We'll use the top, about a half, for the head and the torso, and the bottom half will be the main part of the body. So pick a spot. We're going to be using black paint to outline the beetle. So we'll go to the center of the canvas, straight up. We'll leave some space, and the first thing we're going to draw is a semicircle. Easy as that. Make it nice and thick and dark, easy to see. And if you're having any problems at all with the flow of your paint, just add some water to the black until it flows smoothly from your brush. And we're going to go back in and we'll paint an oval for one eye and another oval for the other. Now you can try and draw a crazy 8. You can put an 8 on its side, paint in the infinity sign, whatever you enjoy. And we'll start the torso part of the shell. We'll just paint a line straight under the head, a little bit wider than the head, and then curve down and in towards the center. Then we'll go back up to the other side, curve down and in towards the center. And don't worry about making it perfect. That's not what we're looking for. We just want to enjoy the process of painting. You can go back in and change your lines at any time. And don't worry about the thickness either. This is not our final end all. Just below the center of the torso shell, paint in a V. This is where the pituitary gland is. And then we're going to paint out and down like a U. Go over to the other side, and we'll do the same thing, repeating and meeting up in the middle. Now here's a little tip for you if you want to know how to follow your paintbrush down a line. Wherever your paintbrush starts, place your eyesight an inch or two ahead of it, and then just follow your eyesight. Your hand will go directly to where your eye is. So if you keep your eye just a little bit ahead of your brush, it'll be easy. And then you want to paint a line straight down the center of the shell. Interesting to note that the ancient Egyptians considered the beetle to represent the human brain, that in the center where the pituitary gland was is the third eye. The left side was our left brain, and the right side was our right brain. The left being the sacred masculine side, and the right being the sacred feminine side. Now, it's also the right side that we consider today to be our creative side, and the left our ego-based logic mind. Now we're going to go back up and paint the first leg. And we'll go up at a little bit of a curve, and then we're going to hook outward for the foot. Now the leg should come up a little bit shy of the top of the head, but it doesn't really matter. And then coming back down, the leg is actually a little thicker at the foot and thinner where it joins into the shell. And we'll go back in with a little detail later. And we'll start the second leg from the center, top of the bottom shell, drawing out, curving down with a little hook at the end for the foot. And same idea, the leg is thinner towards the shell, thicker towards the foot. And we'll go down and draw the third leg on this side. Now he has a little bit of a knee at the top, and the leg extends past the bottom shell with a little hook for the foot again. And you can draw in a circle representing the knee, and then the leg gets a little thicker as you go closer to the foot. And we'll move over to the other side of the shell to finish his set of 6 legs. And again, don't worry about where they're going or how thick or thin they are. And after we have the legs in, we can paint in some antenna and maybe a couple of pinchers in the front. Now we're going to be adding color to a shell. I'll start with phthalo blue, and we'll just place the paintbrush with a little bit of paint on it on the inside of the black line, smoothing the inside edge of the black line as we go along. And don't put too much paint in, and don't worry about making it opaque. We want all those beautiful layers to show through. So just keep playing with the paint and pushing it through. You can always go back and blot some off, rub it with your fingers. And we're going to add some phthalo green for the eyes. Same idea, paint inside the black line. Don't worry too much about it though. It's all right if you go outside the lines. We have no rules, no judgment at the canvas. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of, or I'm going to put a little bit of white in to highlight the eyes, and just rubbing it straight on top of the green. And next I'm adding some white to the deep violet to make a beautiful lavender. Now, if you like to use red and blue to make your purple, also makes another gorgeous shade. And you can make it as blue purple or red purple as you like. And we're just going to fill in the top shell. Keep smoothing the paint out. Run the brush along the inside of the black line. Just fill your area in. You see all those lovely layers showing through. If you need to take some of the paint off of the previous layer, just put it onto the next area that you're painting that color. Okay, I'm going to rub a little blue onto the shell, give it some iridescent shading, put some color in where the pituitary gland is located. It's all about joy, so do whatever makes you happy, whatever colors you like to use. Just keep it light and keep it fun. If you want a little more blue or a little less, rub in or rub out. And we'll add a little more blue shading to the other side as well. Now we're going to start mixing some colors for the outside portion of our canvas. And the secondary and primary colors are on the color wheel. And you'll notice blue and orange are across from each other, red and green, and purple and yellow. This makes them opposite colors or complementary colors. When they're next to each other on a canvas, they're at their brightest. So yellow next to purple, the yellow and purple will look the brightest. When you place the red next to green, the red and the green look brighter than if they weren't beside each other. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I have a palette of blues and greens and mauves on the shell, so I'm going to use warm colors on the outside, and I've blended some orange using some red and yellow that I've added to the palette. And I'll start at the top with some orange. I'll just fill in one area. It's just like playing with a coloring book when you're a kid. Fill in the blanks with paint. I quite often will use my fingers. So go ahead, get a little paint on you. And you'll notice outside of the deepest purples, I'm adding yellow and leaving those layers to shine through. And don't worry, if you've got it done and you don't like the colors that are there, you can add another layer to it, change the ones next to it. Nothing is final. I decided that the yellow needed a little more depth, so I put a bit of orange on top of the yellow and then blended it with a little more yellow. Now I'm using a little bit of white paint around the outside. Just like with our complementary or opposite colors, black and white contrast each other and make each other shine the best. So I'll go in and add a little bit of white right next to the black, and it'll just make our little beetle friend pop right out of the canvas. Sometimes I'll add energy wave lines on top of that if I feel moved to. And if you are, then go ahead. If you need to make a finer line, feel free to pick up a paint marker and use that. I'm just blending the white out a little bit into the surrounding colors. You see what a difference that makes. And then back down on the other side as well. We're just going to make our friend Beetlejuice here come alive. And that, folks, is that. I hope you've enjoyed this part of learning to paint for the faint of heart.